Assalamu alaikum everyone. I welcome all of you to my presentation. In this presentation, I'm going to explain you one of the famous and significant novels of the 20th century, that's Lord of the Flies. My name is Bilal Ahmed. I'm from English department in Federal Urdu University. This is my class presentation, which I have to arrange a Zoom meeting to explain the Lord of the Flies. That is one of the well-known and recognized novels of the 20th century. Lord of the Flies is a classical novel which explores the themes of civilization versus savagery, human nature, and the struggle for the survival. In this presentation, I will take you to a journey where I will tell you about the plot, themes, characters, and each and everything I will try to cover in this presentation. So let's begin to understand the novel by the context of the author and its book. Introduction to the novel. Lord of the Flies novel was published in 1954 by William Golding, an English author. It was the time of post-World War II period when human anxiety was going on and societal structures were collapsed and in the world. The novel is set during an unspecified war where the actual war is not specified, but the settings tell the readers that a global war is going on. Likely, this novel is inspired by World War II or the Cold War because these were going on during the 1950s. The novel starts when a group of British schoolboys, their plane crashes and these are stranded on a deserted island, having no any adult among them. Boys were well civilized from British society. At first, they try to maintain their civilization and create a functioning society among them. But later on in the novel, we can see these boys, their innocence, all turn into savagery. The novel explores the themes of civilization, human nature, and savagery. William Golding was a British writer. He was born in 1911 in Cornwall, England, and passed away in 1993. He also received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1983 and is well known for his gigantic work, Lord of the Flies. He also served as a naval officer in World War II, and this experience had a profound impact on his writing as he explored the themes of human nature and such dark themes in his writing. In addition to The Lord of the Flies, he also wrote the notable works The Inheritors, The Spire, which also talk about the evolution of human. Let's talk about the major characters of this novel, Lord of the Flies. The characters of the Lord of the Flies are more than just individuals. They symbolize the key aspects of human nature and society. Rolf is one of the older boys of age 12 years, represents the order and leadership. At the start of the novel, he is elected as a leader and he tries to maintain their civilization and make order in between the boys. On the other hand, Jack is also at the same age as Rolf is. He is considered the antagonist of the story. Jack wants to become the leader. That's why in the middle of the novel we can see Jack divides the groups into two fractions. He makes his own tribe and they start hunting. The third character is Piggy. Piggy is the voice of reason and intellect. His advices and suggestions are practical and help Ralph in decision making, but his appearance is due to that the other boys make fun of him. The fourth major character is Simon. Simon represents the goodness and spirituality. He is the only boy among them who understand the real beast. So these are the major characters and the focus of the story is in these characters. Let's go ahead to the other slides and talk about the plot summary. Now let's understand the plot summary of The Lord of the Flies. The novel begins when a group of schoolboys of Britain, their plane crashes on an isolated island. The boys are stranded on the island. Boys are among the 6 to 12 years age, having no any adult among them for supervising and guiding them. At first, the boys try to maintain their civilization and create a functioning society. So they elect one of the elder boys, Ralph, as their leader. Ralph is a rational thinking boy. His core focus and primal focus is on maintaining their civilization and working for their survival. So he gives roles and duties to the boys. He gives duties to some boys for creating and maintaining a burning fire on the mountain for their survival, while he gives some other boys duties of hunting and making shelters for the other boys. Another boy named Jack, he is given the duty for hunting. Later on, he becomes too much obsessed with hunting. He spends his whole time with hunting and neglects all the other duties and for the working for their survival. So Jack creates his own tribe among the boys, and they start spending their whole time on hunting. They paint their faces with colors and they consider themselves the inhabitants of that island. Later on, this divide grows too much and makes tension among the boys. Now, once the innocent boys and well civilized become too much savages. They start killing each other for gaining power. They think that their world is now this island. The novel ends when a naval officer arrives at the island. He sees that once these innocent boys and well civilized boys now have become savages. So the end of the story is not too much satisfied, but it tells us that how humans' behavior changes into their real nature when they are left alone on their own devices. Now let's talk about the themes of the novel. The themes in Lord of the Flies are central to its powerful message about the human behavior and society. There are so many themes used in this novel, but we will focus on the just key themes used by William Golding. One of the key themes is civilization versus savagery. It tells us about the battle between order and cause. At first, when the boys are stranded on this island, they try to maintain their civilization. They try to maintain and create their functioning society. They make rules among them. But later on, what we can see that having no any social norms and laws, these boys and the a cause is we can say created among them. The boys become savages. So this tells us that having no any proper rules and societal norms, how human behavior can change. And also William Golding using this theme questions here that if the humans are inherently civilized or they have savage in themselves. Another major and key theme is loss of innocence. We can see at the beginning of the novel these well civilized and innocent schoolboys from Britain. They are very playful at the island, but later on, having no any guidance, and these boys gradually turn into savages. They lose their innocence and they start hunting. They having no any fear. At first, they have fear of a beast. They think that there is a beast on the island among them and it can harm them. But later on, these boys losing their innocence, they become hunters and they start killing each other. This tells us the transformation and descent of the boys, how their innocence is transformed into savagery, how these innocent, well civilized boys have turned into savages. So these are the major focused themes of this novel. Let's go ahead to the other slides. Let's now talk about the symbolism. William Golding has used symbolisms in this novel which are representing the original and other ideas, which can be political ideas and democratical ideas. First symbolism is conch shell. At the beginning, we can see at the beginning of the novel, Ralph and Piggy, they meet at the beach at first. They find a conch. Ralph blows the conch, and all the boys are gathered and they make decision and make order and rules among them. So the conch represents order and democracy among the boys. And at the last of the novel, we can add the falling action, we can say, of the novel, we can say the conch is broken by Roger, and it represents the totally collapse of order and democracy among the boys. The second symbolism is the beast. Beast is a fear and primal instinct. It is a fragment element among the boys in the boys. There is no any actual beast on the island, but it represents that the boys have their inner beasts among them, that their innocence gradually turns into savages. So the beast in the novel symbolizes the inner beast and the darker side of human behavior, we can say. The third symbolism is Piggy's glasses. As earlier we discussed about the characters, we talk about the Piggy. Piggy was a very bulky boy. He uses glasses. So his glasses represent the knowledge and technology. His glasses are used for burning fire. So it represents, it symbolizes the good use of technology in the novel. The boys use the glasses of Piggy for making fire for them. So it is saying us, it also tells us knowledge, the use of knowledge, how the boys are using their knowledge, how they did know that we can make fire from the glasses. And it also represents and symbolizes the good use of technology. The last symbolism is the Lord of the Flies, evil and savagery. As the Lord of the Flies in the novel, it is the also title of the novel, and it is also an element in the novel. When Simon finds that, a hair of pig is sticked in the forest as a gift from the hunters tribe of Jed for the beasts. So it represents the evil and savagery in this novel. Coming to the last slide, we will discuss here literary techniques. First of all, allegory. First of all, the whole novel, Lord of the Flies, functions as an allegorical play, allegorical work. All the things, all the elements used in this novel represent a broader concept. For example, island. Island represents our own world. And the actions of the boys on this island represent the human behavior on the world. Simultaneously, the descent of these boys into savagery represent the societal breakdown in our world. Second technique is foreshadowing. The writer uses foreshadowing in this novel to prepare the readers for upcoming tragic events. For example, death of Simon, hinted before in the dialogues of the writers and imageries. The third is irony. This novel, this work is filled with ironies, especially at the ending when these boys are rescued. It tells us that human nature never changes, though there is a war going on in the real world, and these boys are separated from the real world on an island. Like the war is going on in the real world, but the boys on this separated island never forget their real behavior and they become violent in between them. So it tells us that human behavior never changes. So it was my presentation.